Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, I am the Introverted Reader, and today's video is a little bit late. I've had a bit of a chaotic morning. I went out this morning to the cinema and it's quite probably like in the morning. Why? Oh yeah, because I went with a bunch of kids and like a dummy I said I would help my mom. Sunday school kids, and I'm never doing it again. The reward I get for being a good person. Anyway. Drink your water, although I kind of wish this was filled with something a bit stronger, but whatever. Drink your water. And let's film this really quickly before it gets dark, because it's been getting dark like really early in the afternoons, and I love winter time, you know, and Christmas time and whatever, but the short days. Anyway, so in the month of November, I somehow managed to read 6 books. I didn't think I was going to read this much. Like, we're going to talk about all these. Genuinely did not think that I would have gotten this many books read, but sure, I'll start from the bottom and we will work our way up. So, the first book that I want to wrap, is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This was the November book club pick for the Introverted Reader Book Club, and I have a full review of this on my channel if you want to go and watch it. You guys know Juno Dawson is one of my favorite authors of all time. I love all of her books, and this was definitely no exception. But if you want my full thoughts, opinions, and feelings on this, go and watch my review for it. It's one of the it's one of the newer videos that I posted. I think I posted my December TBR and then this came before, so go and watch that video and get my full thoughts. But in short, I loved it. Anyway, the next book I want to talk about is Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation Volume 2. I feel like this has been on my TBR for the longest. Like, I'm so proud of myself that I finally just buckled down and read this. And you guys know, this is the story that inspired the TV show The Untamed, which is one of my favorite TV shows just ever. I have an unhealthy obsession with that show, but this is the story that obviously it's based off of, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Like, I could see the actors in my head playing out these scenes, like when I was just like, this is exactly how it goes in the show, and obviously, of course, because they'd have to keep to the story, but I absolutely loved it. I love these characters so much. Like, Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji just live rent-free in my head. They're right behind me. And you see there's Wei Wuxian, there's Lan Wangji. They're a bit wonky because those wee figurines aren't the best when it comes to standing up. But we got there eventually, but they're right here behind me, and I love this, and I'm so excited to carry on with volume 3. So I give this 4 stars. Next book I want to you guys, The Vampire Lestat by the Dark Queen, Anne Rice. I read Interview with the Vampire years ago, right? Years ago. Like, I was maybe like 17 when I read that book, because I was in my vampire phase, and my cousin was like all into this series, and she was all like, you have to read Interview with the Vampire, you have to. So she lent me her copy and I read it, and it took me a really long time to read. Mostly, well, I hadn't really read a classic before, that was part of it, but also because the main character Louis in that book was the most insufferable piece of shit I've ever had the displeasure of reading from, like, honestly. But this is like book 2 in like the Vampire Chronicles, and this is fantastic. This is so good. Like, this was everything I wanted the first one to be. Lestat is amazing. I love him. I love him. Okay, so basically it starts off, it's like he's, you know, discovering the 21st century for the first time, and, you know, like, he is so amazed by how far the world has come, and he sees Interview with the Vampire in a bookshop, which is crazy. And he looks at it and he's all like, well, there's some inconsistencies in there, but like I'm happy for Louis and whatever. And then he just goes, I could tell my story. No one knows about me. Like, because he's walking around and like he forms his own rock band. He forms his own rock band. It's crazy. And he literally sits in front of a computer. It's like, I think it's meant to be like the late 80s or something like that. And he sits in front of this computer and sits and types. I find that image hilarious. Like a couple 100-year-old vampire sitting in front of a piece of modern technology, just sitting typing his story out. And it's split into different parts, right? There's like 7 parts to it. And the first part is his life before he turned into a vampire. So while he was still human. And then the ending of that part is him getting turned into a vampire. And then part 2 is him newly born vampire. And he just goes out there and does his thing. And it's amazing. It's so good. Like, I really feel like I can't really say that much about this. It's really just his story. It's Lestat's story. Him becoming a vampire. And then him just living his life. And all the stuff that he got up to, you know, up till like where he was now, telling his story. And like, could I put this down? Absolutely not. Like, I was listening to it via audio, and as soon as I started, like, I remember being away on holiday, like we were traveling to go on the plane listening to this, and I read the entirety of the first part whilst on the plane, and it didn't even, and I just remember being like, part 2, da da da, and I was like, what? And then like, I just, if you have not I am so gonna read Queen of the Damned as soon as I can. Like, I really kind of want to look out for like a nice edition of this. Like, I like this. This is a lovely floppy paperback, but I want to see if I find a nice edition of it. But see this, 5 stars. All the stars in the galaxy, more like. Like, I loved this. This gave me this. I haven't read a good vampire novel in a really, really long time, and the ones I've attempted to read haven't been that good. But this one, I loved it. This is fantastic. If you love like gothic literature, if you love vampires, read this. Read this. So good. Anyway, 5 stars if I haven't said already. We did have one DNF this month, sadly. I have a few more books for you to talk about, but I ended up DNFing The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackworth. I think I got like a couple 100 pages into it, but honestly, me and this book just weren't connecting. Like, I was bored, felt like I was falling asleep, and I just couldn't be bothered. Like, it really sucks because the premise of it sounded really interesting, and I gave it a first shot. I tried, but I couldn't get into it, fam. I couldn't. Like, it reminded me of when I attempted to read A Marvelous Light, remember? I attempted twice to read that book, and then I ended up just giving it up on altogether. I don't want it to be the same with this. I feel the way about this as I did with A Marvelous Light. I just could not connect with it. I couldn't, like, nothing was clicking together. I couldn't do it. Sorry, it's a DNF from me. And I'm done wasting my time on books that bore me. Like, that is the attitude we're going forward with into 2023, which is insane. It's crazy that 2023 is like less than a month away. Oh my god. But like, yeah, I'm done wasting my time with books that bore me. Anyway, I read 2 books on my Kindle. The first book I read on my Kindle was Soul of the Deep by Natasha Bowen. Almost said Skin of the Sea, but that's the first one. Now, Soul of the Deep is obviously the sequel. Now, in a nutshell, I did enjoy my time reading this. I did. I remember, I love Natasha Bowen's writing. I really, really want to, like, read anything else that she comes out with in the future. I love the fact that our girl is a beautiful, she's a beautiful black girl. She's a mermaid. Her task, she made a deal with the gods to save her life, and in order for saving her life, she has to ferry souls over to the afterlife. And in the first one, she rescues a boy from drowning. He's still alive, like he hasn't died, because she rescues the drowned souls that fall off the slave ships. I can't speak. Slave ships. And yeah, so slave trade plays a huge part in this series, so be wary of that when you're going into it. But it's so well done, it's so well written. I did kind of feel like the ending was a bit rushed in this one. It definitely felt shorter than the first one. I still had a really fun time, but yeah, it was just okay. But I still had fun. You know, it's good, smack, 4 stars. It was fine. Why did I say smack? Why? I'm delusional. And the other book that I read on my Kindle, what was the other book I read on my Kindle? I can't remember. Oh yes, The Monarchs by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. It was very, very underwhelming. That's why I could hardly remember it. So the sequel to The Ravens. So The Ravens is a story set at a university, primarily a sorority house at a university. And it is very exclusive. You only come in by invite only. And one of our main characters, Vivi, is like new girl on campus, and she's determined to make her mark. She and her mom have moved about a whole lot, and yeah, she wants to, you know, be a proper student and stay there for the full 4 years. And our other main character is called Scarlett, and she is a part of the sorority. And you know, she wants to be president, like real bad, like she's really ambitious. And overall, I enjoyed The Ravens. It just missed something for me. The same with this one. How can I say this without sounding mean? It kind of felt like a book version of a Disney Channel Halloween movie. And bear with me when I say that, because I do really love the Disney Halloween movies. Don't be getting me wrong about that. But, you know, like, it felt like, you know, that Halloween Town movie that we didn't ask for when she went to Witch University? Remember that one? That literally makes no sense. The grandmother's only in like 2 scenes. Like, it kind of felt like that. Like, it missed something for me. It wasn't dark enough. Like, I was sold that this was going to be a really dark and gritty slasher duology set at a university about sorority girls. I was told it was like Scream Queens, and I love Scream Queens. It was not. It was not. Stop telling people that, because it's not true. Like, I wanted it to be darker, and see, to be honest, they didn't. Like, I didn't believe that any of these girls were college age. They felt like 15-year-olds. Like, they felt like a group of high schoolers. Like, the way they spoke and everything. And listen, I understand. Like, in your early 20s, are you the smartest? No. But you're you know, you've got some amounts of common sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was underwhelmed. Still entertained, but underwhelmed. But, you know, the Kindle hasn't let me down yet. Set Wolf Song. But, yeah. I still have fun reading both of these books. So Soul of the Deep I gave 4, and then The Monarchs I guess I'll give 3. That's me being kind, honestly. So, and the last book that I read, you'll be glad to know, was The Damning Stone by TJ Klune. This was the book that I read instead of reading Library of the Unwritten, and honestly, disgusting and homophobic, honestly, that I hadn't picked this up sooner. But I picked this up finally, and it's like the 4th book in his Tales of Verenia series, but we're not following the same main character as the first 4. I mean, he's still in this, but we're following one of the other characters in this one, Prince Justin, and it's like a year after everything that happened in the first 4 books has like happened and whatever. And I can't express enough how much I love this world, this series, just everything about this series. Like, I discovered this series way back in 2020, and honestly, this series got me through the lockdowns, honestly. It was the joy and happiness that I needed in those dark, stressful times. So, and I'm so happy that TJ Klune came out with this. Like, it's so beautiful. I love the whole found family aspect of this book. Yes, obviously our characters have their blood related family, but they all find each other through all their like adventures and stuff, and like all of them together as a group or family, even though they're not related, and I love that. And I love reading from Prince Justin's perspective. Like, we meet him in the first 4 books, and he's like very cold and detached and kind of bitchy, but like in this one you get to see what he's really thinking and really feeling, and I loved it. And we're back with Gary the Unicorn. Yes, Gary the Unicorn is back, and I think there was a collection of novellas that TJ Klune came out with that is set in this world that I need to read like immediately. Like I love this series. I love this series so much. If you haven't read the Lightning Struck Heart series by TJ Klune, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? Read this series. If you are a fan of this series and you've read this, what did you think? I gave this 5 stars. It was amazing. If you haven't clued in already, 5 stars from me. But yeah, so that is it for the wrap up. So we'll just get all these together. My 2 favorites of the month is definitely Vampire Lestat and The Damning Stone. So here they all are. These are all the books that I read in the month of November. Obviously, sadly, 1 DNF, but sure, whatever. So how many books did you get to in the month of November? Let me know. Did you discover any new favorites? Did you DNF anything? Let me know how your month went, or if you have a YouTube channel and you filmed a wrap up, let me know and I'll go and watch it and I'll see for myself. But anyway, it's been lovely talking to yous. Sorry this video is late, bit of a chaotic morning, but you know, next video will come on Tuesday. So if you are new here, I film videos every Tuesday and every other Saturday. So feel free to subscribe and ring the bell. All my socials are down below as always, and I love you guys. I really do. Thanks for being here. Mwah.